Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host Mariam Shabir and you are watching Follow Up. Today we will talk about bilateral relations between France and Pakistan. We have with us the Ambassador of France to Pakistan, Mr. Marc Barety. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your time. Mr. Ambassador has a degree, PhD degree in fact, in French literature. Mr. Ambassador, how do you see Pakistan-French relations improving over the years?
Well, it depends on what level you want to address your question. I think that one matter of concern for me is the level of trade and investment. I mean, as far as the political relations are going, it's fine. We have some meetings. As far as higher education cooperation is going, it's fine. Culture is fine. Development cooperation is fine as well. But my main focus now is trade and investment. Actually, our bilateral trade is not as active as it should be. It could be very active, but for the time being, we see that we have a budget trade deficit with you. We see that our trade is not that high. It's 1.2 billion euros, which means Pakistan exports 800 million euros to France, and France exports 400 million euros to Pakistan. So our trade deficit is there, and this trade deficit is increasing because our exports to Pakistan are getting lesser and less. So what we are trying to do is try to change things, because even if we compare Pakistan with other countries in the world, our market share worldwide is 1.2% of the market. When we look at Pakistan, it's 0.88, so which is very disappointing. So what I am willing to do is to try to change things. I think we can change things in three directions. Number one, we have to inform French companies about what is the reality of the market in Pakistan. So this attracting French companies to Pakistan, because some of them don't have a real view of what is going on here, because it's not their, I would say, I call it cultural horizon. Their cultural horizon is Europe, America, North Africa, Africa south of the Sahara, and the Arab world, so to say. So we have to make them aware of what is going on here. We've been doing this already last year with the head of the economic department in the embassy. We traveled to Dubai, because in Dubai we have lots of French and Pakistani companies that are there. So we reached out to them, we organized a seminar, and we explained to them that, you know, Pakistan was a nice place to do business. Of course, companies tend to, let's say, believe other companies. So we brought with us also companies who were active in Pakistan. We organized a workshop with them, and as a result we had a trade mission that came last year. This was November, and we are hoping the same trade mission from Dubai, French companies from Dubai, to come to Pakistan. So this is what we are trying to do, attract French companies. We are going to have next April another trade mission from top companies from France coming in a delegation. We hope to have perhaps 15 to 20 of them, and they are going to visit Islamabad, Lahore and Karachi, and this is another good way to sort of improve the business. Now, the other very important thing we have to do, goes with that thing, is to help the French companies who are in Pakistan, where they're facing problems, where they want to get some information. But the third thing, which is very important, is diversification. Our exports to Pakistan and your exports to France are too much focused on the same type of items. We export turbines for hydropower and some helicopters, some pharmaceuticals. You export textile, leather, some food, but that's nearly all. So we have to diversify, because a strong trade relationship is really much about diversification.
So which sectors would be in focus for the future collaboration? Like you just mentioned that some of the French companies will be visiting Pakistan to look for the opportunities and investment in Pakistan. So what would be the sectors and what would be your advice to that companies, that which sectors are stronger in Pakistan, where Pakistan and French can collaborate?
I think there are many sectors in which we could cooperate. Number one, and it's under discussion now, is the automotive sector. We have a French company called Renault, allied to Nissan, it's the same group, and they've been planning to set up an assembly plant in Pakistan. It was Karachi, now it's Faisalabad, but we're waiting for the negotiations to deliver. This would be a very good signal for the other businesses and other companies in France that you can have a major investment in Pakistan. Number two, aside from the automotive sector, I think water is very important. We have a number of French companies that are that are world leaders in the sector, which is either distribution, either water treatment. They are really the top companies. So and they are already here, but there's more to do. And water is an issue in Pakistan, like in many other countries, but here it's a major issue. We have other sectors like energy, for instance, that are very also important, and we are involved in this. Another sector is, I would say, the agro-business. French agriculture is one of the first in the world. We are very strong exporters of food, raw but also processed. And our diagnosis is that Pakistan is a major agricultural country. The only thing is that perhaps food processing is not there enough. And perhaps some French companies might be interested to get into this business in Pakistan. Energy and renewable energy, of course, is something that is of interest to us and to you as well. So these are the main sectors in which we could move forward, but I could also mention pharmaceuticals, but we're already very much in this. So these are the sectors that are of interest for us.
Great. So where do you see the gap on Pakistani side, that what we should do at our end to improve to attract French investment in Pakistan?
As I told you, I mean, this negotiation that is going on between Renault Nissan and authorities here is very important, because it will give a clear signal that, I mean, French companies are welcome in Pakistan. Not saying that they are not, but for the time being, our investment here is 1.2 billion euros. Most of the investment is in the energy sector with a company called H.E. The other one is in the oil downstream, which is Total. You know, Total Parco. Here they have Total has their second largest distribution network worldwide. So it's quite admirable, and they're very happy here. So the signal is really this: make sure that everybody knows how business in Pakistan is. You have BOI here. They've been very active. They had a tour, a road show in Europe last year. I encourage them to do more of this. We have organized a seminar in Paris last June about investing in Pakistan. So I'm sure that these are the avenues that should be explored more thoroughly.
Most of the Pakistanis, if we move to the literature or literature side, most of the Pakistanis educated in English are unable to understand the work carried out by the French scholars and scientists. What are you doing for that? Do you think that the collaboration between think tanks and universities be a way out for this?
Yes, we have a cooperation in the field of higher education and languages that is there. And the idea is to show, number one, that if you want to study in France, you don't have to speak French. If you go for business, if you go for business studies, if you go for technical studies, physics, chemistry, engineering, no problem. Of course, if your goal is to study French medieval literature, I mean, you're expected to speak French. But for the rest, you're not. And we have presently 700 Pakistani students in France in higher education studying chemistry or engineering. They are doing fine. We have a group of alumni called the Pakistan French Alumni Network, PFAN, and it's easy to reach out to them. They will tell you that they have an excellent experience in France. So this is what we are doing, promoting higher education in France. And we're working hand in hand with the H.E here, and Tariq Banouri. He's doing an excellent job, and we're very happy with what we're doing with Tariq Banouri. Of course, it's not the only thing that we're doing. We're also promoting the study of the French language. We are 3 cultural centers or so-called cultural centers. Alliance Française, there's an outlet here in Islamabad, there's one in Lahore, there's one in Karachi, and they're all dedicated to the teaching of the French language, but also to organizing cultural events the French way, so to say. And a number of people that are involved in this, because Alliance Française is also always a local organization, so the board of the Alliance Française in Pakistan is Pakistani, and for instance the chairperson of Alliance Française in Karachi, she's a Pakistani but she speaks French. So there's no problem with this. The other things that we could try and do, and we've been in contact with the Ministry of Culture here, is try to have a number of masterpieces of the French literature being translated into Urdu, of course, for the wider public here.
So Pakistan and India is going through testing times these days. What advice would you give to both countries?
I think there are two things. Number one is today and the immediate things that have to be done. And we have called since the outset for de-escalation and dialogue. This is really the good way to settle things. And I'm happy to see that in the past 2-3 days, things have been calming down, and I hope that we are now in a very positive momentum that will allow the tensions to ease. Now the second thing is, which is of great importance, is that we don't want to give lessons, but as you have interviewed my German colleague Martin Kobler here, I'm sure he had told you that there were two countries in Europe that were arch enemies. It was Germany and France. We've been fighting for centuries, including 2 world wars, and after World War II we managed to come to terms and sign a treaty of cooperation and friendship. This treaty has been renewed this year on the 22nd of January. It used to be the Élysée Treaty, now it's become the Aachen Treaty, and this is a treaty about not only about normalization and friendship, is trying to go further than normalization, because now we have entered into a phase where with Germany we're absolutely on the same page, and we want to be a power engine or power station for Europe, and this is really what we are trying to do. I'm not saying that France and Germany are an example. I'm saying that France and Germany have shown that it's possible for two countries that have been waging bloody wars against each other, it's possible for these countries to come to terms and be at peace. So if it's possible for us, why wouldn't it be possible for other countries in this region? So we are not an example, once again, but we hope, we wish that we might be an inspiration.
Will France be willing to mediate between India and Pakistan?
India and Pakistan have to settle their issues together. If they need somebody to jump in, it's for them to decide whom they want to be extending a helping hand.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ambassador, for your time. France and Pakistan relations are not only based on economic relations, but also on cultural and educational cooperation as well between the two countries. We hope that Pakistan and France will do more investment together in coming future. Stay tuned for the next program. Goodbye.